You feel it, don't you? It shows up when the noise fades, when the notifications stop, when you're lying awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel like something's missing. You followed the rules, checked the boxes, kept the peace, smiled when you were supposed to, but deep down, beneath the performance, beneath the image and the routine, there's a quiet voice that refuses to die, a whisper that won't go away. It doesn't yell, it doesn't beg, it just says, you were born for more than this. Most people aren't living, they're rehearsing, they're mimicking, they're surviving. They wake up already tired, scroll for an hour, get dressed, go to jobs they tolerate, come home to distractions they don't even enjoy, fall asleep with questions still burning, then repeat. And here's the painful part. The world celebrates it. If you're busy, you're important. If you're tired, you're grinding. If you're disconnected, you're just hustling. But what if the real issue isn't exhaustion? It's emptiness. What if what's breaking you isn't your schedule, but your disconnection from why you exist at all? The ancient ones called it losing the soul, not in a religious sense, but in a human sense. Because when a man lives without direction, he doesn't drift, he drowns. Somewhere inside you is a memory, not from this life, but from your soul, a memory of purpose, of clarity, of discipline, of greatness. You felt it before, maybe only for a second. That moment when you did something that made your chest rise, when you pushed through the pain and felt alive for once, when you spoke truth and didn't care who disagreed, when you stared at the stars and knew you were made for more. But life buries that fire under bills, shame, pressure, and fear. It convinces you that survival is the same as living. It tells you to be realistic, to aim lower, to sit down, to shut up, to blend in, and slowly that fire flickers till one day it's only smoke. But here's the truth the world won't give you. You were not born to blend in. You were born to burn. They sold you a script. Go to school, follow orders, don't question, fit in, make money, consume, numb yourself, repeat. And maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, you'll retire before your body breaks and die before your soul wakes up. But you were never supposed to fit their mold. That mold was designed to break you, because a man who is free in his soul cannot be controlled, can't be manipulated with fear, doesn't need applause to know his worth, and that kind of man terrifies the world. You weren't made for a cubicle. You weren't made to seek permission. You weren't made to shrink to make others comfortable. You were made to rise, to build, to speak, to lead, to live. Not like them, but like you. Thousands of years ago, warriors, prophets, and sages knew this truth. They didn't have acts or podcasts. They had silence. And in that silence, they remembered who they were. Epictetus said, "You are a soul carrying a corpse, not to depress you, but to wake you up, because your body will rot, your status will fade, but your character, that's eternal." Lao Tzu reminds us, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened." So let me ask you this. Do you even know yourself anymore? Not the version you perform, not the mask, not the profile picture. You, the one who used to dream, the one who used to believe, the one who used to feel something when you looked in the mirror. He's still in there, but he's tired of waiting. The truth is simple. You're not lazy. You're unfulfilled. You're not lost. You're distracted. You're not broken. You've just been living in someone else's design. But there's a warrior inside of you, not made of muscle, but of meaning. And he's not interested in excuses. He's waiting for silence, for stillness, for surrender. Not surrender to the world, but surrender to your truth. that you're not here by accident, that your pain wasn't pointless, that your dreams weren't delusions, that you were born for more than this. So how do you return? Not to a trend, not to a brand, but to your soul. You begin with truth, not comfort, not motivation. Truth. Start here. Who am I when no one's watching? What did I abandon that made me feel alive? What pain am I carrying that I pretend isn't there? Who am I blaming for my own stagnation? These are not questions for the faint of heart. These are questions for warriors, because warriors don't just fight enemies, they face themselves every single day. And then they rise with discipline, with vision, with hunger, because purpose doesn't come from what you get, it comes from what you become. Most people want freedom, but few are willing to earn it. Real freedom doesn't mean doing whatever you want. It means being able to say no to what kills your soul, to walk away from comfort, to embrace discipline, to rebuild your life brick by brick, even if no one claps, because you weren't born to impress. You were born to impact. You weren't born to react. You were born to build. And if you still feel that quiet ache inside, that whisper that says, this isn't all there is, you're right, it's not. You were born with fire, and that fire can be one of two things. It can burn you alive, or it can light your path. And that choice, it's yours. You don't need permission. You don't need the world to understand. You just need to remember you were born for more than this. And your next chapter is waiting to be written by the hand of a man who refuses to stay asleep. So don't stop here. If this woke something up in you, let it breathe. Let it rise. Let it burn. Because the next message was made for the man you're becoming. Click it. Let's dig even deeper.